Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Before we get there, a quick shout out to Adam and Gold Bar. Ted, you'll appreciate this. Adam and I, we were just discussing that the new Eddie Vedder song sounds a lot like...
Oh, Tom Petty.
Tom Petty. We're having to say, he's like, sounds like Tom Petty. So there you go. Yes, it does sound like Tom Petty. If Tom Petty were really, really tired. Just the voice difference. Like really, really, really tired. Today, we toast an anonymous woman from Edwardsville, Illinois. You know where that is? Doesn't matter. It's outside of St. Louis. She was one of 3 women who attempted to shoplift from a local sporting goods store. Now, they'd done it before, and that's why employees recognized them as soon as they walked in. But that did not deter the shoplifters. You see, they had a plan. They're not trying to be subtle this time. They just ran into the store, grabbed as many Nike sweatsuits as they could, and then ran back into the parking lot where their getaway car was parked. Well, the first 2 ladies jumped in into the front seats. They started the car. That proved to be a problem, you see, because once they put the car in drive, it auto-locks all the doors. And this was an issue for our honoree as she was still on the outside of the car. They all got there within about 2 seconds of each other. But they panicked, put it in drive. Well, now the door's locked. All you got to do is unlock the doors. They didn't unlock the doors, though, because as soon as the door's locked, that's when the cops came pulling into the parking lot because the employees at the store already knew what they were going to do before they did it. So the cops showed up. Well, her 2 friends in the car realized the cops were there. They gunned it and took off without her. Now, to be fair, she gave chase for a little while. She was dropped all the Nike sweatsuits so she could lose the weight and pick up the pace. But, yeah, a cop chased her down. She was arrested. Now, she's facing charges of felony theft. She also had a warrant for a previous theft. Meanwhile, her 2 friends still on the loose.
Damn.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's your getaway vehicle. It's real important that all of us get in. More than that, if you do have to commit a crime that involves a getaway vehicle, some of these newer cars, as soon as you put it into drive, the door's locked. Not all cars do that, but I would just advise, if you do have a getaway car, it's really important to know whether or not the doors are going to auto-lock when you put the thing into drive. Anyway, she got arrested. 2 friends are looking good in their Nike sweatsuits.
Damn. That's crazy.
It is. Have you seen the video?
I have not watched yet.
It is outstanding. It really, even the person video, they just start laughing. I mean, they don't even care. They're just like, you idiot. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The men's room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth.
God, that's dumb.
You watching the video?
Yeah.
And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Brandon. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola. All right, Brandon, you understand how this here game is played?
Of course I do, sir.
Fantastic. You have your choice of one of 3 stories. The Wonderful World of Drugs. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, Interior Decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone.
Interior decorating.
a popular category these days.
It really is, and I understand the fascination with it. I'm convinced that this segment would get more people into the medical industry than anything else. Because a lot of times when you research this, they include x-rays. And I'm telling you, the x-rays are, they are fascinating. In fact, this is a sad admission here, but a couple of years ago, I ordered a book on Amazon called Stuck Up. And all it is, it's 101 x-rays of people that have inserted or swallowed things that are in their body. They provide the x-ray and the doctor explanation for what's going on. And it still has not gotten
Or like
old.
something that, impaled someone. And that they have
You
to...
get a few of those. Most of them are patients intentionally. They did not intend for it to get trapped, but they are responsible for their own situation. I guess that's the best way to put it. All right, here's your story. Now, we know that household objects getting stuck inside of people's butts, it's nothing new. This behavior can be the result of mental illness, curiosity among people who just didn't know better, or sexual play gone wrong. But according to the authors of a new paper, finding a certain object inside of a patient's rectum is especially rare. And the discovery was apparently enough to compel them to issue a warning to others about the possible risks that could come with this particular kind of rectal object. For one, our bodies contain gases that can ignite with the right spark during surgery, and accidents like this have happened occasionally in the operating room. But certain items contain a potent mix of pressurized flammable chemicals, adding to the real risk of fire or explosion should the object be inadvertently punctured. Now, according to the paper, it's not clear just why this object ended up inside of this man's body, but a 21-year-old patient arrived at the emergency room suffering from abdominal pain, and he told doctors that the object was inserted in his rectum a day earlier, as he says, by two unknown people. Now, because of the risk involved, the doctors opted to put the man under general anesthesia before attempting to remove the object. Thankfully, the procedure did not require any incisions, and a simple abdominal pressure was enough to get the object out without any complications, which leads me to believe they bloated him up, pressed down on the stomach, and out came the object. Afterward, the man was given a psychological evaluation, counseling, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, he's doing well. They sent him home. Mm-hmm. But their concern was this thing that was in his butt also had the potential to be flammable. All right, so the question is, what did Playboy have in his poop chute? Was it a deodorant can, a plastic lighter, a can of shaving cream, or a bottle of nail polish? So deodorant, a lighter, shaving cream, or nail polish. One of these was inserted in the backside.
What do you think, Kathy?
I mean, the lighter seems like the easiest thing to get in there, and obviously that can explode because it's got fuel in
that
it.
was their whole point of this particular study. They're like, look, if you have to stick something in your rectum, try to make sure it's not something itself that's flammable.
But I think I'm going with spray deodorant because that's specifically an aerosol can, whereas I feel like shaving cream sometimes doesn't spray out as fast as a spray. Maybe it's just the consistency, but I feel like the aerosol can. Yeah, I feel like the aerosol can of deodorant's going up quick. And it's bigger than a lighter. I mean, if you're going to put something up there, go for it.
Brandon, what do you think?
Ted says that to everyone.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Ted. I'm going to go with the deodorant.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going lighter, just because. All right, we're going to find out what that warning was about. It was about putting a deodorant can, a plastic lighter, a shaving cream container, or nail polish up there next.
That was a tease.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Kickstart summer with Memorial Day values at Lowe's. Choose 4 or more eligible Samsung appliances to complete your dream kitchen and laundry room. Plus, get 10% back via MasterCard gift card rebate. Also, save now on the latest Samsung appliances, like the bespoke refrigerator with panels in a variety of colors to mix and match. It's an easy way to create your own unique look. Memorial Day values start now at Lowe's. Shop in-store or online today. Offer ends June 13th. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Back to the conversation. This is the men's room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Categories: interior decorating on profile. This warning was issued about an object that should not be inserted in the backside due to the possibility of an explosion because of what one man did insert into his backside. Question is, what was the object? It was successfully removed. Deodorant can, plastic lighter, shaving cream, or nail polish?
And Brandon, that is the very question that we posed to you. Let us start with Miles Montgomery. You went with the lighter.
Seemed to make sense to me.
Look, they all make sense. There's no wrong answer. This just happens to be specific. They don't recommend you put any of these in your butt.
Okay.
And Brandon, you agreed with the Ted Smith that it was, in fact, deodorant. You are correct.
Okay. Nice.
In case you're wondering.
I will never do that again.
In case you're, well, it depends on the brand, Miles, because they specifically point out, and they're not saying this is the most dangerous one, just in this case, it was Axe body spray.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right. Depends on the size. I'll tell you what, I haven't used it in years, and then I went on a trip and I had a travel one. It is pretty easy.
Oh, yeah? To insert in your anus.
Oh, yeah.
Spray yourself.
Yeah,
right.
travel one. I spray myself with a normal size.
Yeah, but the
And it
travel
wasn't
one.
Axe, but it was a spray deodorant.
Now, for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right. Your choices today, Seth Meyers.
Seth Meyers.
Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel? Jimmy Kimmel back in the saddle.
Okay.
Or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It's right there in the title. All these guys have teams of talented writers that help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
Dog the Bounty Hunter has got married for a sixth time. A sixth time. Sounds like he's really working like a dog.
Fallon.
Ted Smith.
Ted Smith.
Yeah.
Amazon is close to launching its own brand of TVs, and since it's Amazon, while you watch TV, it watches you.
Fallon.
Seth Meyers.
Fallon.
I heard that Amazon is close to launching its own brand of smart TVs. Yeah, they're pretty cool. You watch the TV, and since it's Amazon, the TV watches you.
Jeff Bezos has reportedly invested in a company that intends to reverse the aging process. And if that project fails, they say Bezos will go back to his full plan, which is paying everyone on Earth $1 million to pretend he's 25.
Fallon.
Kimmel.
Jeff Bezos has reportedly invested in a company that intends to reverse the human aging process. If the anti-aging project fails, Jeff Bezos, they say, will go back to his fallback plan, which is paying everyone on Earth $1 million to pretend he's 25.
Surgeon successfully removed a Nokia cell phone from a man's body after he swallowed it whole. His kids were so embarrassed, they were like, Dad, can you please swallow an iPhone next time?
Fallon.
That's Fallon.
Surgeons successfully removed a Nokia cell phone from a man's body after he swallowed it whole. His kids were so embarrassed, they were like, Dad, please swallow an iPhone next time.
The internet was abuzz today because of a video featuring Steve from Blue's Clues, who had been out of the spotlight for years. I wish I could tell you the same about Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Ted Smith.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's a little, I know there's a movie coming out, but
Hate on the John Ritter.
That was a little dark. I love John Ritter. People fired up about Steve yesterday, though.
Oh, yeah.
Producers have announced they'll delay the release of the new movie Jackass Forever till next year due to a surge of coronavirus cases. So that would have been a pretty good stunt. I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is going to the movies in a pandemic.
Seth Meyers.
I'll say Kimmel.
That's Seth.
Producers have announced they'll delay the release of the movie Jackass Forever to next year due to a surge in coronavirus cases, though that would have made a pretty good stunt. I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is going to the movies in a pandemic.
That's how Jackass always started.
Yep.
Yeah. I was like, sometimes when they had some of the stunts, too, where, like, people didn't realize that Knoxville was messing with them, like, double time.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Speaking of Knoxville, I saw a stat the other day about the money. Here we go. The medical bills they have racked up, which is kind of crazy, right? So you're talking about since the debut in 2000, the estimated total costly injuries to the main cast is a little over $24 million.
That is a lot of money.
But it's closer to $38 million if you include the crew and lesser cast members.
Jesus.
So they're making a ton of money off this.
They must be.
Yeah.
That's like, 3 rides in an ambulance, man?
I mean, what do you do to yourself to get $1 million hospital bill? You know, and
that stuff.
And then
that stuff.
30 some of those incidents.
Yeah. So Preston Lacey, he's had up to he's had $75,000. Wee Man has had $675,000. And these are just injuries when they're doing stunts for Jackass.
Yeah. Not to mention the pain that your body will incur for the rest of your life.
Sure.
Sure, but they're also on Jackass.
Right. I'm just saying, once you mess up your shoulder, it's never the same. Once you tweak a knee, it still works, but it's never the same, you know?
Yeah, but for the money, you hedge your bets and it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, I suspect I don't feel like crap as I get older. I already do.
Yeah.
Right? Just without all that cash.
Dave England, he's racked up $1,065,000. Steve-O had almost $6 million. Aaron McHenry, he's up to $7.5 million, and then Johnny Knoxville has had $8,663,000.
Damn.
And again, that's just this.
Right, just from doing that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
That's impressive, though.
It is, and some of the stunts, too. I remember seeing some behind-the-scenes stuff back in the day. I can't remember if it was the first movie or something. Some of them aren't even stuff you expect as much. Like just driving crazy in golf carts or over a ramp, and you bounce out on the golf course and break a tailbone.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know?
Or put your penis in a tank with a snake and have it bite it.
Yeah. But again, that's an expected injury. I'm just saying, like when you're jumping out of something or falling great distances or dropping bowling balls from a high ceiling onto your legs, you go, okay, something's probably going to break. But I don't think a golf cart going over a ramp that wasn't that crazy. Right. That's not the one you really see coming. All right, so here's the deal. The original host of Blue's Clues, Steve Burns, basically years ago, he left.
It was back in 2002, right?
Right, because it's been 19 years. So nobody's really seen him. But now it's coming up to 25th anniversary of Blue's Clues. I never watched it. Mike, you said you did a little bit. That was in your group, right?
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, I watched Blue's Clues all the time. Love that show.
All right. Yeah. I wouldn't say just missed it. I definitely missed it though.
No, that was right. I was the perfect age for that show. Like it was targeted at my demographic.
All right. So did it crush you when Steve left?
No, because I had gotten out of the show by the time he had left. Like I had graduated into the not quite babyish kids shows.
Right.
And then, I was still watching Nickelodeon, maybe tapped into Nick Jr. from time to time, and then all of a sudden I noticed that this new guy Joe's in there and he wears an orange shirt instead of Steve's green shirt, and it's his brother, and I'm like, okay, it's the new generation. I accepted it for what it was at that time.
All right, so he left, he never really talked about it. So he put out a video. He started with basically just saying, hey, look, it was abrupt. Yeah. I acknowledge that. Mm-hmm. But then also, Steve was kind of doing what normal people do, and he was growing up.
We started out with clues, and now it's what? Student loans, and jobs, and families, and some of it has been kind of hard. You know? I know you know. And I wanted to tell you that I really couldn't have done all of that without your help. And in fact, all the help that you helped me with when we were younger is still helping me today, right now. And that's super cool. I guess I just wanted to say that after all these years, I never forgot you. Ever. And I'm super glad we're still friends. Thanks for listening. You look great, by the way.
This people like 27 goddamn years old.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, too. Like, he's like, look, I get it, right? And for a lot of people, right, you watch it, that's your age.
Sure. So,
like, it was kind of abrupt or whatever. But, right, he's like, look, I went and did this stuff. Now, it helps it's the 25th anniversary, so he's coming back.
Obviously.
But yeah, I like the video. Again, it meant nothing to me. I didn't watch the show, but I was like, all right, I get where the guy's coming from. And he literally grew up with the people that were watching this show growing up.
Right.
Yeah. And from what I could see, the internet's all loved it. People were talking about crying and this and that. Just like, damn, all right. Yeah. Mike's got a hard edge. He thinks this generation's turned into a bunch of softies.
I got a cold heart. Living in your own nostalgia.
Well, I guess it's weird, too, because he's not, I mean, he was a real human, but on a show.
Right.
I remember being disappointed when, sports announcers would retire.
Sure.
Right? Because you grew up with a certain sound of somebody's voice and, you expect it. But I don't know, if they put out a video and were like, hey, I'm doing this now, you'd be like, okay.
Yeah. And it was sad when I found that Steve had gone away. But again, I wasn't watching the show anymore at that point. So it was just when that book closed, it was a little bit saddening to see it, but it didn't affect me near as much as apparently it affected the rest of my generation.
I didn't know much about the show. Obviously, I'd heard the name, and then my kids, a couple of years ago, I don't even know what goddamn network it's on now, but they put it on, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I've heard of this. Jesus Christ. I'm like, listen, and look, I'm a grumpy old man when it comes to children's TV shows, but this was one of the few where I'm like, we've got to flip channels. You know what I mean? I can endure some mindless stuff, but I can't watch this with you. Like, if you want me to stay in a room, we got to flip channels. If you want to watch this, I'm going to go do something else.
I always wanted Steve's chair, though. That was a comfy-looking chair.
Well, I guess the other thing, too, is, Sesame Street, newer generations watch it, but it's still the same character. It's not like Big Bird.
Show.
It's not like Big Bird one day is just not on the show. I think that would probably what you'd been like, holy ass. What happened to Bird?
He was supposed to be on this Challenger. Remember that? He was supposed to be on the Space Shuttle Challenger to get kids interested in science. His costume is too big to fit inside of the shuttle. No offense, NASA ain't dropping the cash to retrofit it for a giant goddamn canary. Anyway, that thing blew up. And behind the scenes, they were like, thank God. Like, as much of a tragedy as it was, you didn't know the 7 people that went up there and exploded. And everyone felt it, and it kind of crushed the U.S. spirit, but it wasn't Big Bird. And as ridiculous as it sounds, if Big Bird had been on the Challenger as scheduled, and that thing blew up, it would have been a crippling loss for people.
Yeah. So I can fathom where these people with Blue's Clues are coming from because they're used to that dude. But yeah,
but 19 years later.
Well, yeah. but he was gone.
Yeah.
He just left the show and he was gone. You know what I mean? Generally you hear something. There's a lot of actors and stuff that kind of leave Hollywood.
Yeah.
But you still see a picture of them somewhere.
Sure.
Once in a while, TMZ or somebody says, hey, here's this person
at a grocery store.
Dancing with the Stars.
This is also a young kid show, so it's not like they're really watching Entertainment Tonight to figure out what happened to Steve.
No, you're right. But also, we see Kenan Thompson every week, but it's not like, I'm going to call him the other dude. I can't even pull his name right now.
Kel?
Kel, right. Once in a while, you'd see a story about Kel.
Yeah.
Whereas, this dude, Steve, was just and I'm out. And to his credit, he did a good job. Mm-hmm. But I think that's why he was just hey, here's what happened. Whatever.
Yeah.
Instead of just being all right, kids, screw you. You're on your own. What's the favorite meme? F those kids. Anything late night tonight? USA Soccer is playing another World Cup qualifier. Let's get 3 points, boys.
3 points.
Yeah.
3 points.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Kickstart summer with Memorial Day values at Lowe's. Choose 4 or more eligible Samsung appliances to complete your dream kitchen and laundry room. Plus, get 10% back via MasterCard gift card rebate. Also, save now on the latest Samsung appliances, like the bespoke refrigerator with panels in a variety of colors to mix and match. It's an easy way to create your own unique look. Memorial Day values start now at Lowe's. Shop in-store or online today. Offer ends June 13th. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. A man claims a car backed into him, knocking him to the ground. A rear-view camera says otherwise. Meanwhile, a Florida home standoff is a tense situation. Then cops could not believe their eyes. Meanwhile, Florida YouTubers drive around throwing slushies at people from their car. Boy gets $100 for his birthday, but that money will not go very far. And a Phoenix man beats up his barber after a bad haircut and steals his necklace. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
Top story, we go to Louisiana, where a man filed a police report about a hit and run. The man was mercilessly hit by a Tesla in a local parking lot, and as it was backing out of a spot, and was shocked when the driver fled the scene. Suffering back, leg, and neck injuries, authorities were called, and a report was filed on the driver. Unfortunately for our victim, the entire incident was caught on the Tesla's backup camera, showing that he had staged the entire incident. He copped to filing a false report and was charged.
You had to cop to it. They're watching the video. I saw the video, bro.
We got you dead right, buddy.
I mean, come on.
And again, in this day and age, I don't care where you are in the world. You are being filmed somewhere.
And count on the person that you're coming after to make use of that probability, right?
My whole thing is I don't know where in the hell you go into that Tesla to be able to find the stored footage of that backup camera.
I'm sure they've got it.
Right?
They've got it.
I mean, I've owned a car that had a backup camera to it, but if I was backing up and somebody pulled that on me, I wouldn't know how to get that information.
I have a backup camera. I don't even know that it stores the info. Do they all store the info?
Right?
Honestly, I don't know either.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me if Tesla was one of the newer ones to just
absolutely
go ahead and do that, but yeah, man. In other news, we go to Florida for a very fitting story. A few days ago, local police unfortunately found themselves in an armed standoff with a teenager. We may have covered this a little bit earlier today. In an effort to keep the public safe, they cordoned off the area to focus on the situation and de-escalate it. But this story has little to do with the actual situation compared to what happened next. The barricade was infiltrated by a drunk, nude woman on a golf cart.
Yes.
Let me in.
She...
I should have yelled 2.
She rode past the blockade and directly to the house where the standoff was taking place. She was assisted out of the cart and immediately handcuffed by authorities.
She was not assisted.
That's what the story says.
Okay, being ripped out of your vehicle, it's not like
Let me help you out of there.
I assisted the blood leaving his nose.
Exactly.
Did you punch him? No. I was assisting his blood flow.
I will say with you guys, I'm in full agreement that everything's a ceasefire as soon as a nude woman who's drunk on a golf cart comes just strolling down the street.
The guy on the roof, the cops, everybody like, what's going on here?
The crazy man on the roof with a gun, the teenager with a gun on the roof is like, you know what, you guys should take a second and just figure this one out.
But I'm not that crazy.
Right.
I'm a situation people are used to dealing with. Right?
He actually thought about his life choices there for a second.
I'm better than you.
Oh, man.
I'm not naked. Weirdo.
2 teenagers in Florida were arrested for trying to make it big on YouTube. Extreme stunts and pranks are a fairly reliable well to tap for those looking to make it engaging content on YouTube, and such was the case for our 2 heroes. They went to local Circle K and purchased 7 slushies from the store that they then used to throw at pedestrians that they drove by.
Didn't they put it up on their YouTube channel?
They did.
So if anything else, right. I mean, they've got the evidence against them doing it before that.
Exactly.
So why wouldn't you think you could identify them through their YouTube channel?
Because they're teenagers, Miles.
All right.
Because they weren't thinking in the first place. One, they're doing a stupid where somebody could actually get hurt. Not to mention things could get ruined. You put it on a phone or on a purse that's got all kinds of stuff on it. It's going to ruin everything in there. They're teenagers. They're stupid. They're not thinking of a doggone thing. Over in Ireland, a young man is going viral online for his communion gift. It's not unusual to receive cash as a gift on your communion or confirmation, as was the gift from his grandparents of €100.
That's $118.21.
Indeed. Unfortunately, they should have taken a second thought about the presentation, as it was tied to a massive balloon, as we see in the video, as it floats away just as fast as it showed up. And that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawkins out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. More Men's Room is up next with the Men's Room Happy Hour, episode number 35, featuring the return of Man versus Beast and another Would You Rather.
Yes, indeed, it is all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch for 90 seconds. So until then, do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Kickstart summer with Memorial Day values at Lowe's. Choose 4 or more eligible Samsung appliances to complete your dream kitchen and laundry room. Plus, get 10% back via MasterCard gift card rebate. Also, save now on the latest Samsung appliances, like the bespoke refrigerator with panels in a variety of colors to mix and match. It's an easy way to create your own unique look. Memorial Day values start now at Lowe's. Shop in-store or online today. Offer ends June 13th. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details.